In the deepest, oldest expanse of the known universe, where the fabric of spacetime is stretched thin by 13 billion years of cosmic expansion, there floats a sea of utter blackness. This is not the familiar, star-dusted dark of our own night sky. This is the primordial void, a silence so profound it predates the existence of sound itself. Through this eternal emptiness, light travels not as a brilliant flood, but as a fragile, weary whisper. Photons, born in the universe's violent infancy, journey across unimaginable gulfs of nothingness, their energy bleeding away, their wavelength stretched from fierce, energetic blue to the ghostly, attenuated red of infrared. They are relics, time travelers carrying a message from an era we were never meant to see. For millennia, this message was lost to us, arriving at our world only to be absorbed by our atmosphere, its ancient secrets dissolving just beyond our reach. But now, we have built an eye to see this invisible light. A golden honeycomb sentinel, orbiting 1,000,000 miles from home, engineered to capture these faintest of ghosts. The James Webb Space Telescope. And as it opened its eye to the cosmic dawn, it found something that should not exist. It found a ghost galaxy, a silent metropolis of ancient stars adrift in the dawn of time, a city that had seemingly died almost as soon as it was born. Yet, at its heart, something was ferociously, impossibly alive. A darkness that burned with the light of 1,000,000,000,000 suns. It was a contradiction that threatened to unravel our understanding of how the first structures in the universe came to be. How can a dead body have a beating heart? How can a silent galaxy host a screaming, ravenous monster? To find the answer, we must travel back, across the entire history of the cosmos, to witness a cosmic drama of creation and destruction on a scale that defies the imagination. We must venture into the heart of a silent giant, to confront the living darkness within. Now, let's begin. Music. The object of our journey lies in a region of the sky catalogued as JADES, the JWST Advanced Deep Extragalactic Survey. It is a patient, deep stare into a sliver of the cosmos, designed to find the very first embers of galactic creation. Among the faint, red smudges of nascent galaxies, one stood out. It was given the designation JADES Z7, a simple name for an object of profound complexity. From our vantage point, it is little more than a faint speck of infrared light, but within that speck lies a story of immense scale and shocking violence. To understand its strangeness, we must first understand its home. The era in which JADES Z7 existed was the cosmic dawn, a mere 700 million years after the Big Bang. This was not a time for silence or for endings. It was the universe's age of frantic, chaotic construction. Gravity was pulling together the first great clouds of hydrogen and helium, crushing them into the first stars, which ignited in brilliant, blue, supernova fuel chains. Galaxies were not yet the grand, structured spirals we see today, they were messy, brilliant, colliding train wrecks of gas and light, furiously birthing stars at a rate hundreds of times faster than our own Milky Way. The universe was loud, bright, and alive with the fires of creation. But JADES Z7 was quiet. When Webb's instruments analyzed its light, they found none of the telltale signatures of youth. There was no brilliant blue glow from massive, short-lived stars. There was no pinkish haze of ionized hydrogen, the telltale sign of active stellar nurseries. Instead, its light was uniformly, anciently red. This was the color of old, small, slow-burning stars, like the ones that dominate the universe's geriatric, elliptical galaxies today. It was a galaxy that had already exhausted its fuel, run through its entire life cycle, and settled into a long, quiet retirement. It was, for all intents and purposes, a dead galaxy. Finding such an object in the modern universe would be unremarkable. But finding it here, in the cosmic nursery, was like discovering a fossilized skeleton in a maternity ward. It had aged and died on a timescale that our models of cosmology deemed impossible. It was a relic before its time, a silent giant in an age of screaming infants. What force could possibly be powerful enough to prematurely halt the engine of creation in an entire galaxy, snuffing out its future before it had truly begun? The silence of JADES Z7 was the first mystery, a cosmic anomaly that hinted at a process far more efficient and far more violent than we had ever dared to imagine. It was a galaxy that had been quenched. Its fire had been put out. But as Webb stared longer, peering deeper into the heart of this silent giant, it found that the story was not one of quiet death. The silence was a lie. Something at its core was not silent at all. It was roaring. Deep within the placid, reddish glow of JADES Z7's ancient stars, Webb-sensitive spectrographs detected a second source of light, one entirely alien to the nature of its host. This was not the gentle, thermal light of stars. This was something far more energetic, something born of extreme physics. The instruments picked up spectral lines of highly ionized carbon and oxygen, atoms stripped of their electrons by an onslaught of ferocious, high-energy radiation. And at the center of it all, there was the unmistakable signature of hydrogen gas swirling at unbelievable speeds, thousands of kilometers per second, heated to millions of degrees. This was the unmistakable fingerprint of an active galactic nucleus. It was the calling card of a supermassive black hole, not sleeping, not dormant, but in the full, violent throes of a feeding frenzy. A quasar. This was the impossible heartbeat. A black hole, hundreds of millions of times the mass of our Sun, was alive and well at the center of the dead galaxy. It was a monster breathing fire in a frozen graveyard. The contradiction was absolute. A quasar is the most luminous object in the universe, a beacon of light that can outshine its entire host galaxy. This light is not generated by the black hole itself, for no light can escape its event horizon, but by the material spiraling into it. A vast, churning disk of gas, dust, and shredded stars, known as an accretion disk, surrounds the black hole. As this material falls inward, accelerated by the immense gravity, friction, and magnetic forces, heat it to incandescent temperatures, unleashing a torrent of radiation across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. This process is fantastically inefficient in one sense, and terrifyingly efficient in another. Only a fraction of the material makes it past the event horizon, the rest is converted into pure energy with an efficiency that dwarfs nuclear fusion. To power such a furnace requires a constant, massive supply of fuel. It needs a galaxy rich in cold gas, a galaxy that is actively channeling material toward its center. It needs, in other words, a living, breathing, star-forming galaxy. Yet here, in JADES Z7, the galactic pantry was bare. The stellar nurseries were closed. The gas clouds were gone. The galaxy was silent. And yet, the central engine, the black hole, was burning with the fury of a billion suns. It was as if we had found a raging bonfire in the middle of a desert, with no wood, no fuel, no source for its impossible flames. This single observation shattered the neat, tidy narrative of cosmic co-evolution we had spent decades constructing. The living heart and the dead body could not coexist. One of them had to be an illusion, or both were signs of something new, a chapter in the cosmic story we had never read before. The question was no longer just what had killed the galaxy. The question now was what was keeping its heart alive, and what terrible secret connected the galaxy's silence to the monster's scream. For decades, our understanding of the universe has been built upon a fundamental partnership, a symbiotic dance between a galaxy and the supermassive black hole at its center. They are not separate entities, they are two parts of a single, evolving organism. This theory of co-evolution posits that they grow together, their fates inexorably linked. In the early universe, as a protogalaxy forms from a collapsing cloud of dark matter and gas, a seed black hole forms at its dense core. As the galaxy draws in more gas from the cosmic web, feeding its burgeoning star formation, it also feeds its central black hole. The galaxy grows, its stars multiply, and the black hole grows in lockstep, swelling in mass as it consumes the material funnel to the galactic center. This relationship is so consistent that in the modern universe, we find a direct correlation: the bigger the galaxy's central bulge of stars, the more massive its supermassive black hole. It is a cosmic rule written into the fabric of space across billions of light-years and billions of years. This dance is what regulates a galaxy's life. When star formation is rampant, the black hole feeds well and grows quickly. But if the black hole grows too large, too quickly, it begins to push back. The intense radiation from its accretion disk, the quasar, acts like a powerful wind, heating and blasting gas out of the galactic core. This process, known as feedback, is a self-regulating mechanism. The black hole effectively bites the hand that feeds it, shutting off the supply of cold gas, which in turn slows down star formation and eventually starves the black hole itself. The quasar then flickers and dies down, the galaxy quiets, and the system enters a state of equilibrium. It is a cycle of balance, a cosmic give and take. A galaxy cannot grow uncontrollably, and a black hole cannot feed indefinitely. They regulate each other. JADES Z7 violated every tenet of this sacred cosmic rulebook. Its black hole was enormous for its time, far more massive relative to its host galaxy than anything we see today. The balance was broken. It was not in equilibrium, it was in a state of extreme disparity. The black hole was still in its phase of violent, rapid growth, but its host galaxy was already in its final, quenched state. It was as if the regulatory feedback mechanism had catastrophically failed, or rather, had worked with such devastating efficiency that it hadn't just regulated the galaxy, it had killed it outright. The partnership had dissolved. The symbiosis had become a parasitic relationship, with the black hole continuing to thrive on the corpse of its host. This single object suggested that in the primordial universe, the dance was different. It was not a gentle waltz, but a violent, brutal struggle for dominance. It implied that a black hole could grow so fast and so furiously that it could preemptively sterilize its own galaxy, winning the battle for resources so decisively that it ensured its own eventual starvation. JADES Z7 was not just an anomaly, it was a testament to a different set of rules, a more savage form of cosmic evolution that played out in the universe's chaotic dawn. It was a crime scene, and the rulebook we had brought with us was for a different jurisdiction entirely. Music. Let us approach JADES Z7 not as astronomers, but as cosmic detectives arriving at the scene of a crime. The victim is the galaxy itself, its life of star formation extinguished far too soon. The evidence of its past vibrancy is gone, replaced by the cold, red light of an aging stellar population. The time of death, approximately 13 billion years ago. The prime suspect is obvious, still looming at the scene, radiating with incandescent power, the central supermassive black hole. The motive, survival, the insatiable hunger that drives all things governed by gravity. The murder weapon, energy. The process is called active galactic nucleus feedback, and in JADES Z7, we are seeing its most extreme and immediate aftermath. We are witnessing the murderer standing over the body, the weapon still smoking. The reconstruction of the crime begins with the quasar itself. The light from its accretion disk is so intense it creates a pressure, a force that pushes outward. This radiation pressure acts like a sandblaster, scouring the inner regions of the galaxy. But this is only the beginning of the assault. The quasar also launches powerful jets of relativistic particles and broad, galaxy-spanning winds of superheated gas. These outflows, traveling at a fraction of the speed of light, are the true instruments of death. They are galactic tsunamis, propagating from the center outwards, crashing into the galaxy's delicate reservoirs of cold, dense molecular gas, the very substance from which new stars are born. The effect is twofold and devastating. First, the winds physically eject enormous quantities of this gas, blowing it straight out of the galaxy's shallow gravitational well and into the void of intergalactic space. The fuel tank is emptied. Second, the gas that isn't ejected is flash-heated by the shockwaves and intense radiation. Cold, dense gas clouds are transformed into hot, diffuse plasma. Star formation requires gas to be cold and dense enough for gravity to overcome its internal pressure and initiate collapse. By heating the gas, the quasar effectively sterilizes the remaining fuel, rendering it inert and useless for creating new stars. This process is not slow or gentle. The evidence from JADES Z7 suggests it was terrifyingly rapid, a galactic flashfire. In perhaps just a few million years, a mere blink of an eye in cosmic terms, the galaxy was transformed from a brilliant blue starburst factory into a red and dead relic. The quasar didn't just suppress star formation, it annihilated it. The black hole, in its desperate, explosive growth spurt, effectively salted the Earth of its own kingdom. This is why the paradox exists. We have caught the system in a very specific, very fleeting moment. The galactic-scale murder has just been committed. The galaxy's star formation has been shut down, but the black hole itself, the culprit, is still consuming the last of the material that was already on an inescapable trajectory towards its event horizon. It is feasting on the leftovers of the very meal it has now ensured will be its last. The quasar is still blazing, but it is running on fumes. Soon, within a few more million years, that final reservoir of gas will be gone, and the black hole's light will flicker and die. Silence will then truly fall over the entire system. What Webb has found is not a stable state, but the brief, violent transition between life and death. It has provided us with the missing link, the snapshot of the crime in progress, revealing that the relationship between galaxy and black hole in the early universe was not a partnership, but a fatal struggle. To truly grasp the cosmic drama of JADES Z7, we must rewind time and watch the events unfold. Imagine, 131 billion years ago, a vast, primordial cloud of dark matter and hydrogen gas, a nexus point in the invisible cosmic web. Gravity, the silent architect, begins its work. The cloud collapses, and within its densest pockets, the first generation of stars ignites. A protogalaxy is born, a brilliant, chaotic swirl of blue light and star-forming fire. At its very center, where the gravitational potential is deepest, a seed is planted, a black hole, perhaps born from the collapse of a colossal first-generation star. For a time, there is harmony. The galaxy grows, fed by streams of cold gas flowing in from the cosmic web. Starbursts ripple across its structure. The central black hole sips from this river of gas, growing steadily, its mass a tiny fraction of the galaxy around it. It is a period of vibrant, youthful construction. But this black hole is unusually ambitious, or perhaps the flow of gas to the center is unusually efficient. It begins to grow at a prodigious rate, far outstripping the growth of its host galaxy. It is no longer sipping from the river, it is gorging itself. As its mass swells to millions, then tens of millions, of solar masses, a critical threshold is crossed. The trickle of energy from its accretion disk becomes a flood. The quasar ignites. This is the moment of the turn, the tipping point from creation to destruction. The light from the black hole's accretion disk now outshines all the billions of stars in the galaxy combined. This light is a physical force. The quasar winds begin to blow. At first, they are a gentle breeze, clearing out only the very central regions. But the black hole's appetite is voracious. It continues to accrete material at a maximal rate, and the winds intensify, becoming a galactic superstorm. A wave of pure energy, a shock front of superheated plasma, erupts from the core. It sweeps through the galaxy's spiral arms, through its delicate filaments of star-forming nebulae, like a pyroclastic flow. The cold, dense clouds of molecular hydrogen, the cradles of new stars, are vaporized in an instant. They are either blown away into the intergalactic void or heated to millions of degrees, their potential for creation forever lost. The galaxy's brilliant blue light begins to fade, as the massive, hot stars that produce it run out of fuel and explode as supernovae, with no new generation to replace them. The star-forming engines sputter and die. The galactic choir is silenced. The entire process, from a vibrant starburst to a quenched relic, takes place in less than 100 million years. The black hole has won the war for resources, but in doing so, has destroyed its own homeland. This is the timeline of a cosmic murder, a story of unchecked ambition and self-destructive power. The aftermath of this cosmic cataclysm is the strange, contradictory object that the James Webb Space Telescope has now revealed to us. We are seeing a ghost town, moments after the firestorm has passed. The once brilliant blue galaxy is now a somber, faded red. This color is the signature of its new reality. The only stars that remain are the older, smaller, less massive ones, stars like our own Sun, or smaller red dwarfs. These stars have lifetimes measured in billions or even trillions of years. They are the long-lived survivors, the silent witnesses to the violence that sterilized their home. The galaxy is now set on a course of slow, inexorable decline. With no new stars being born, it will simply fade over the cosmic eons, its remaining stars slowly burning out one by one until it becomes a dark galaxy, a true island of ghosts in the cosmic ocean. But at its center, the fire still rages, for now. The black hole, the architect of this destruction, is still feeding. The gas that was already caught in its gravitational grip, the material that was inside the blast radius and on a terminal trajectory, continues to spiral inward. The accretion disk is still white-hot, still launching its powerful radiation into the now empty galactic halls. This is the source of the impossible heartbeat. It is the echo of the feast, the residual energy of a system that has already fundamentally changed. This state, however, is fleeting. The black hole has cut off its own supply lines. The river of gas from the galaxy has been dammed and vaporized. Once the last of the infalling material is consumed, a process that will take only a few million more years, the quasar will starve. Its brilliant light will flicker, fade, and then extinguish. The screaming monster at the heart of JADES Z7 will fall silent. When it does, the entire system will finally match its appearance. It will be a dead galaxy with a dormant black hole at its core. It will have become a normal, quiescent, elliptical-like galaxy, indistinguishable from the countless others we see in the more mature universe. The evidence of the crime will have been wiped clean. This is what makes the JWST's discovery so profound. It has captured the system in that razor-thin window of time between the quenching of the galaxy and the quenching of the quasar. We are not just seeing the before or the after, we are seeing the during. We are witnessing the precise moment of transition, a phase of galactic evolution so rapid and so violent that we never thought we would be able to observe it directly. JADES Z7 is a cosmic fossil of an unprecedented kind, not of a creature long dead, but of a creature caught in the very act of its own self-immolation. Music. The discovery of this one object fundamentally alters our perception of the early universe. It is not merely a curiosity, it is a piece of evidence that forces a profound revision of the first chapter of cosmic history. For a long time, cosmological models assumed that the process of quenching a galaxy was slow and gradual, occurring much later in the universe's timeline. We envisioned massive galaxies living long, fruitful lives of star formation for billions of years before their central black holes grew powerful enough to gently shut things down. The universe, we thought, built its large, silent structures slowly, methodically. JADES Z7 tells us this picture is, at best, incomplete, and at worst, fundamentally wrong. It demonstrates that the universe was capable of creating finished galaxies when it was less than 1 billion years old. Quenching was not just a feature of the mature cosmos, it was a violent and shockingly efficient process happening at the dawn of time. This implies that the first supermassive black holes grew much, much faster and had a much more dramatic impact on their surroundings than we ever predicted. The feedback mechanism was not a gentle thermostat regulating the galactic environment, it was a bomb going off at the center of the city. This has sweeping implications. It helps solve a long-standing puzzle, why we see so many massive, dead galaxies in the relatively early universe, at times when they should still be actively forming stars. The mechanism revealed by JADES Z7 provides the answer. These galaxies didn't just fade away, they were murdered by their own central engines in a rapid, brutal fashion. The universe was separating into the living and the dead far earlier than we knew. Furthermore, this discovery provides a crucial data point for understanding the growth of the most extreme black holes. The existence of billion solar mass quasars in the first billion years of the universe has been a major theoretical headache. How could they grow so big, so fast? JADES Z7 shows us a plausible pathway, a period of super-Eddington accretion, a feeding frenzy so intense that it blows the galaxy apart. The black hole grows at a pace that defies normal limits, but the cost is the destruction of its own future food supply. This object is a Rosetta Stone, allowing us to translate the language of light from the cosmic dawn into a new and more dramatic story. It tells us that the universe was not built peacefully. It was forged in a crucible of extreme violence, where the creative force of gravity and the destructive force of black hole feedback were locked in a titanic struggle. JADES Z7 is the first direct glimpse of one of those pivotal battles, a battle that shaped the structure of the cosmos we inhabit today. None of this would be known, none of this story could be told, without the instrument that captured the light. The James Webb Space Telescope is more than a machine of glass and gold and wire, it is a monument to human curiosity, an extension of our senses across the vastness of time and space. To see JADES Z7, Webb had to perform a series of miracles. First, it had to see in the infrared. The light from this galaxy, which started its journey as ultraviolet and visible light, has been stretched by the expansion of the universe for over 13 billion years. Its wavelength has been redshifted by a factor of 8, transforming it into a faint thermal glow invisible to the human eye and to telescopes like Hubble. Webb's giant, 65-meter mirror, cooled to just a few dozen degrees above absolute zero, is the perfect net to catch these ancient, weary photons. Second, it required unparalleled sensitivity. The combined light from this entire galaxy and its blazing quasar, by the time it reaches us, is unimaginably faint. It is equivalent to trying to spot a single candle on the surface of the moon. Webb's detectors can register individual photons, patiently collecting them over hours and days, building up an image from a rain of light so sparse it is barely there at all. But the true genius lies in its spectroscopy. By passing this faint light through its prism-like instruments, NIR-SPEC and MIRI, Webb can shatter it into its constituent colors, creating a spectrum. This spectrum is a barcode, and within it is written the entire story. The overall shape of the spectrum tells us about the age of the stars. The sharp, bright lines, the emission lines, tell us about the gas at the galaxy's core, its temperature, its density, and its velocity. The dark absorption lines tell us about the gas being blown out of the galaxy. It was in this barcode of light that the entire drama was encoded, the red continuum of an old galaxy, overlaid with the high-energy emission lines of a powerful quasar. Webb is not just a camera, it is a time-traveling laboratory. It allows us to do astrophysics on an object whose light is older than the Earth itself. It is the golden eye that has allowed us to stare into the abyss of the cosmic dawn and find, against all odds, a coherent narrative of creation and destruction. Without it, JADES Z7 would have remained what it had been for 13 billion years, an invisible ghost in an unseen corner of the sky. And so, the core mystery is resolved. The silent galaxy with the living heart is not a paradox, but a snapshot of a fleeting, violent transition. We are privileged witnesses to the immediate aftermath of a cosmic patricide, where a supermassive black hole, in a final, gluttonous act of growth, has extinguished the life of the very galaxy that birthed it. We have journeyed back to the dawn of time, guided by the faintest whispers of ancient light, to uncover a more brutal, more rapid, and more dramatic story of how the universe grew up. We learned that the elegant dance of co-evolution between galaxies and their black holes could, in the universe's chaotic youth, become a death match. We saw how the engine of creation at the heart of a galaxy could become its own instrument of destruction, wielding energy with such force that it sterilized its home in a cosmic instant. JADES Z7 stands as a monument to this process. It is a testament to the awesome power of feedback, the mechanism by which the universe regulates itself, culling its most active members to pave the way for a more structured, more orderly future. This cycle of birth, violent life, and rapid death is not an anomaly. It is the engine of cosmic structure. From the chaos of the Big Bang, gravity builds, and black holes cull. It is a universe locked in an eternal struggle between its own foundational forces, and in that struggle, the grand tapestry of galaxies, clusters, and voids that we see today was woven. The silence of JADES Z7 is not the silence of absence, but the silence of completion. It is the quiet that follows the storm, a profound peace earned through unimaginable violence. It reminds us that in the cosmos, creation and destruction are not opposites, they are two faces of the same fundamental process, the twin engines that drive the evolution of everything. We are the result of such cycles, living in a calm, mature galaxy, long after its own violent youth has passed. We exist in the quiet aftermath. But what would you have done if you could witness it? If you could stand on a world within that nascent galaxy and watch as the light of 1 trillion suns erupted from your galactic core, not as a promise of life, but as a wave of annihilation that would scour your skies and seal your world's fate forever. What would you have done if you could witness the living darkness consume the light?